Scott Joplin, Duke Ellington, Mahalia Jackson, John Coltrane, all among some of the most influential musicians in American history. Their influence, though, wasn't limited to their music. They all influenced the framework of Black America. And a new book on rhetoric and Black music examines the roles that these musicians played in social and political enterprises. And joining us now is author of that book, UMBC professor Dr. Earl Brooks. Good to see you, sir. Thanks for coming by.
Thank you.
We see this. We see athletes be activists.
Yes.
We see actors do the same. We don't hear about musicians as much in some cases. And now it's nothing new for people in high-profile places to have a voice.
Yeah, I mean, the core of this book is reframing how we think about Black musicians. They have been active in our public discourse for years. They've been shaping not just how we think about the world around us, but how we think about really critical issues: identity, race, gender, all kinds of things. So the point of this book is really to give readers a deeper insight into just how entangled American history is with Black music.
It was very, I guess, easy now because you have social media and all these other outlets where you can get the word out.
Yeah.
For them, for a lot of them, that was tough. I mean, it was where you were was where you were able to speak and people would hear you. Tell me about how they use their voices to get the message out.
So one of the major points of this book is that, of course, most folks acknowledge that music lyrics can be a really important form of communication. But often we don't think about the music itself, right? We think of composers as, creating music that influences our emotions, our passions, but we often don't think about them as seeking to be public intellectuals and contributing to public discourse on really, really critical matters.
What stands out to you? Who stands out for you, at least as to moving the needle for when it comes to Blacks in America?
Well, I would say that the boldest claim, at least one of the boldest claims that the book makes, is around Mahalia Jackson. And I argue that we should really reconsider her as equal to Martin Luther King's stature as a figure in the civil rights movement, in terms of her ability to really theorize what it meant to bridge Black theology, African American theology, with liberation, with thinking about the Black church as not just a space for spiritual salvation, but also political and social liberation.
Sure. When you sit back, when you sit and listen to, was it? Oh goodness, I'm losing the song right now. Come Sunday, and if you close your eyes and you listen to the lyrics and just the sound of her voice, it changes your mood, and it does get you to think about, well, what the heck was going on at this moment? And I'm guessing for most of these musicians, it's the same thing. You close your eyes and you listen, you understand either it's the hurt or the joy of the time,
And I also want to emphasize that even if you are a fan of more current forms of music, R&B, hip hop, this book has something for you. Because the first person I talk about in the book is Harriet Tubman and her use of the spirituals as a tool of communication. The last person I mention in the book is Kendrick Lamar, right? And I make a connection between him and Duke Ellington and his winning the Pulitzer Prize, and how important that is when you think about how Duke Ellington was rejected from winning the Pulitzer Prize, right, due to racism in America. So it really kind of makes a lot of connections between the history of Black music and everything that's happening in Black music right now.
Do you think the message of yesterday, do you think it is transferred, because you mentioned Kendrick Lamar, do you think things have gotten lost in the theater of it now, that the message is gone, or do you think the message is still there, just performed in a different way?
Oh, I think Black music is thriving right now. It's really thriving. And when you take the time to go through the archives, when you take the time to go through the Black press, I've done all the footwork, so you can really see just how much we've progressed as a community, and how much music has been such an important realm of deliberation for our community around some of these really, really important issues.
I feel like Lauryn Hill is a good messenger. Joe Scott's a good messenger. You mentioned Kendrick Lamar. Who else stands out to you? Who, if you're going to compare now, who's today's messenger?
Oh, today's messenger. There's so many. There's so many. And it's hard for me to pick just one because, so many musicians are out there really, really doing their thing. But I think we don't often think about some of the genres of music like blues, jazz, R&B as kind of in the forefront of leading public discourse, like we might say with hip hop right now. But those things are so crucial because so many of the patterns of composing patterns of discourse are still around today. So what this book does is really make those connections apparent for readers.
And we have about a minute left for your students back at UMBC, and I'm guessing this is part of your class and your teaching. How do they absorb this? What do they think of this?
Oh, I always find a way to weave
sure
in music,
yeah.
you know, and you know, I'm an English professor. I'm in the English department at UMBC. But one of the areas that I talk about is sound studies, and that's, you know, thinking about the world through sound and how sound is a form of communication, just like any other form of communication. So I really love to open students' minds to just how interwoven their lives are with sound and music, and how that kind of shifts so many things in their lives, even if they're not aware of it.
There'll be people looking for this book. Where can they find it?
You can find it anywhere books are sold, Amazon. It's all over the internet.
Excellent. Good to
Yeah,
see you, sir.
thank you.
Appreciate you coming by.
Thank you.